welcome viewers. Today we will discuss about education for sustainable development, that is ESD, for technical and vocational education. So, how ESD can be helpful in 21st century technical and vocational education training, that we will be discussing, and how ESD can be incorporated into this kind of higher education, technical education. So, as all of us we know that education empowers us with knowledge, skills and confidence, etc. And so that is why it is very much required for building a green society, for a technologically apt society. So how? So because we need to put all these sustainable development path in teaching and learning, in practice, in internship, in work experience, in the workplace, everywhere. So without education there cannot be any sustainability, there cannot be any sustainable development, because sustainable development is a paradigm shift, a shift in our thought process, it is a shift in our thinking style. So it cannot be reached only through the technological solutions. So sustainable development cannot be achieved only through technological solution or financial instrument. For that matter, we need to have a paradigm shift, a shift in our thought process, a shift the way people think and act. That kind of change is very much required. So how to integrate ESD systematically in this technical and vocational education, that is of paramount interest and importance in nowadays. So systematically integrating education for sustainable development, that is ESD, into all levels of education, all levels of education and training, starting from the primary education to the higher education to workplace learning, everywhere, how it can be incorporated, how it can be embedded in our curriculum and training programs. So therefore, how to prepare for this technical and vocational education, that is most important. So technical and vocational education and training nowadays, you know, it is being emphasized because of developing the skilled manpower and various sectors, starting from the agriculture to management to industry to everywhere. It is required, very much required to not only mobilize the resources but restore the resources and preserve it for the future. So now we are calling, that is because of this climate change and carbon footprint and all kinds of natural disasters. So now we are moving towards more green society, more greener products, greener manufacturing, green products, green society, green products, green marketing everywhere. So that is to minimize the pollution, minimize the carbon footprint. So here we will talk about the green TVETs. That means how technical and vocational training, education and training can be provided in the greener form, that is with the zero carbon or the minimum carbon footprint. So therefore, green TVET, that is technical and vocational education, it encompasses the pre-employment education and training, then learning in the workplace and further training. That includes all kinds of educational training, pre-employment training, workplace training, internship, everything related to environment, related to ecosystem, related to our economic, related to our social sustainability. Everything it is related to, but at the same time also meeting the needs of the industrial and individual learners. So how can we mobilize, how can we modify our TVET, technical and vocational education, in such a way that it not only address the environmental issues, economic issues and social sustainability issues, but at the same time also it can meet the needs and requirements of industries and the individual learners and the society. So the primary focus of green TVET is to develop the skilled workforce, skilled manpower. So with that means who have the knowledge and commitment towards the sustainable development, as well as they can also acquire the requisite technical knowledge, technical skills and competencies. So therefore, green TVET is very much crucial, and it is in a transition position nowadays. Nowadays from the earlier position of energy emission intensive economies to the more cleaner and the greener production and service pattern. So here again, so how we are focusing on ESD, how ESD can be implemented for the technical and vocational education training, and how from there we are moving towards green TVET. That means definitely sustainability, being green, we are going for the greener society is a part of sustainability development. So how? So here how these three things have been embedded: ESD, greener society, more greener products, greener approach towards the business, and technical and vocational education. So, these three components have been blended here. So, now that means ESD and TVET now the powerful forces that can be helpful for the society and for the and to make our citizens more ecologically, environmentally more responsible citizens, and our workers and consumers, they become very conscious about the global challenges, about the global issues, environmental issues, and they how they should behave with responsibility, that is not only to meet their needs and requirements, but at the same time how to meet the global and local challenges. So, now ESD and TVET and green TVET has become the powerful forces. So, to mobilize the human resources, to mobilize our economical resources, and to protect our environment, for a green ecosystem, for a green business, for a green entrepreneurship, for a green consumptions, all kinds of things, minimum carbon footprint products. So, now we can talk about ESD and green. So, here we can say that ESD and green TVET, it complement each other. So, ESD, education for sustainable development, and the attempt for the green TVET, it complement each other. So, both these things they go together to promote the skill development, employment, and to employment, so that we can empower our younger generation and adults to develop the different skills and to maintain a work-life balance, etc. So, therefore, green TVET means more than developing the technical skills for the green employment, such as now we are talking about the ecotourism, renewable energy, renewable waste management, and developing the soft green skills, and also the problem solving, enhancing our problem solving skills, and also life skill education, education for sustainable consumption, and lifestyle entrepreneurial learning. So, green TV is addressing all these issues, contributing towards the environmental, economic, and the social responsibilities. How we can discharge, how being the citizen, we can discharge these duties and responsibilities in a minimum, minimum way, that is to create less minimum waste, and how this waste can be recycled, and minimum impact, minimum negative impact, to minimize the carbon footprint and minimize the you can say the negative impact on the society. So, ESD is at the core of these green skills. Hence, we are talking about the green skills to reorient the education and training at all levels towards the sustainability. So, ESD being a part of the green skills, green training, how it can be embedded in the education and training to enhance the level of sustainability in every domain, in education, starting from the school education to the higher education to professional training to education to workplace, educational environment, everywhere. So, therefore, we can say technical and vocational education training system plays an important role in equipping our youth, our adults, and it's a kind of changing our mindset, and you can say play an important role in creating the new job opportunities and creating the new employment, decent works, and entrepreneurship, sustainable entrepreneurship, and lifelong learning, etc. This is a model we can see. This is a model of step-by-step guide for the implementation of ESD, how it can be incorporated in the institutions. As we can see that the scope of sustainability for TVET institutions is in terms of green campus. We can focus on the green campus, how to create the green campus, green curriculum and training, green research, green community and workplace, more greener institutional culture, and so similarly here implementing the institutional green plan, so blueprint, how can we implement it, then planning for the green TVET, and the step 1, like you can say, start with understanding the whole process, clarifying the greening concepts, clarifying the adaptation of the whole institution. The whole institution is approach is that taking the institution as a whole unit, not as a part wise, that it is not that only marketing part or only production part or only consumption part will be greener, but the whole institution approach, that is if we take the every aspects of the institution and plan for it, that is called the whole institution approach. Adopting a whole institution approach, engaging every teams, then slowly towards moving towards its planning and execution. In the planning stage, these are the works like raising the awareness, formulating the rationale, assessing the current realities, everything. That is the step 2 affair. Then step 3, that is implementing this institutional green plan, when we are going to actually execute it in consolidating and embedding it in the core system, then institutionalizing the change and celebrating it. Then starting from there, again we are moving slowly towards the step 4, that is monitoring and evaluation and assessing the progress, so that we can finally establish a reason for monitoring and the way of various kinds of assessment and evaluation, clarifying the scope of this kind of assessment requirements, then developing a monitoring and assessment frameworks. So from there, from the 4th step after evaluation, if we find that these are very much beneficial and cost effective and impactful, then we gradually embed it include it in our day-to-day process, day-to-day activities, day-to-day process, that is daily practice. So this is the holistic approach of how TVET can be provided to the institution, can be embedded in the curriculum, or how green TVET can completely modify, completely change the whole system towards a more greener production, greener society and sustainable establishment. So this is the whole thing, whatever we have discussed, that is scope for sustainable and TVET institution, all these aspects. Then step 1, step 2, step 3 that we have already discussed right now. Then step 4, after monitoring the progress and assessment results, then we are going to implement in our daily practice. So now we will discuss about how ESD provides an enhanced tool to equip youth and adults with the knowledge and the skills, that is the knowledge and the competency requirement to make the transition to the greener economy. Here we are talking about the greener economy, how the skills for like these are some of the skills that required for the sustainable development, how ESD plays a vital role. As you can see here, there are 4 circles. 4 circles are overlap. So 4 circles, 4 domains are working is. As you can see, this one domain is, you can say, citizenship behavior, global citizenship we have discussed. So how citizenship behavior also, that is the one domain where education for sustainable consumption lifestyle, then TVET for sustainable production, technical vocational skills for the sustainable production, that plays an important role, that is in the domain of citizenship. Then another is the work environment domain, that is the workplace situation. Then the next is that in problem solving, the challenges that we are facing, is another domain where this life skill education is required, entrepreneurial educations are training and educations are required, how this can be provided, how the youth and adults and the manpower will be trained in a very sustainable way. Then another is that work life and the personal life, our personal life. On the one end, that is our personal life, at the other end is the work life, and at one end this is again the citizenship behavior, domain. Another is the problem solving approach or the innovations to solve the challenges. So if we adopt all this green approach everywhere in consumption style, lifestyle, then in our production and also manufacturing production, and then in the space also, in the workplace also, we go for the more greener products, more eco-friendly approach. And then even for the entrepreneurial education also, training and education also, we follow that ESD should be more in terms of the green approach, adopting the green or eco-friendly approach. And we always, whenever we seek for the challenges and for solving the problems and solutions, etc., then again also we should seek the green approach, that is the minimum carbon footprint, minimum damage, minimum negative impact approach to solve the problems and face the challenges or to mitigate the challenges. Then the life skill education, that means in our consumption, in our day-to-day consumption, and in our behavior, in our lifestyle, everywhere, then we need to learn certain life skills for adopting that ESD pattern or have a sustainable lifestyle in our domain, both personal domain as well as the professionals. So when all these circles, all these domains, they intersect, and when they intersect, the core domain, the core space, we can say, that the ESD is being placed in the core domain. That is, ESD is the core theme of essence of everything. So, whatever we are doing, ESD is implemented, ESD is embedded, ESD is you can say ESD approach has been applied. See here, so skills. So, in this context, we need to develop certain skills, the skills for the sustainable development. So, how can we go for that sustainable skills in the technical and vocational education? Let us see it. So, why to invest in ESD? As till now that we have already understood that what is the importance of ESD and how ESD is very important to acquire the relevant skills, values and knowledge required for to build a sustainable future, sustainable society, and how to make our citizen more informed, citizen more conscious, conscious and alert, and consumers to lead a sustainable lifestyle, to move towards the sustainable development goal agenda of UNESCO and of our countries, and how to go for a green economy and the green society. That is our primary focus, and here ESD plays a very important role. So, green TVET prepares the people for the more green jobs, contribute to preserve and restore the quality of the environment while improving the human well-being and social equity. Yes, at the same time we are focusing also human well-being and human consciousness, to enhance the human consciousness, conscious practice towards the sustainability. So, because of all these things, now the government is also investing on creating the potential jobs for the creation of the skills needed for the new green sector. You can take the agriculture, not only agriculture, but also in manufacturing, in service sector, in even in technical front, we are planning to go as green as possible, even the global in the market, retail marketing also we are going for the green skills, knowledge and the skills for the green jobs. So, here we can say, and UNESCO has the center, UNESCO is the International Center for Technical and Vocational also, that is UNIVOC. Also it assists its member countries states in greening this TVET education with special focus on teacher training, teacher education, curriculum development, green campus and learning resources and also for enhancing the multi-stakeholder partnership to integrate these ESD and TVET. So, UNESCO has already given the direction and the guidelines how to go for TVET in a more greener format, in a more greener approach, and how ESD can play a very important role. So, these are some of the recommendations that is coming from the UN's expert committee regarding this green curriculum, green campus and green TVET. So, first thing is that the integrate sustainable development into education and training at all level, that we have been discussing since last few classes, that is how ESD can be embedded in the curriculum, starting from the school curriculum to the college education plus higher education everywhere. So, incorporate the principles of sustainable development and environmental awareness into the all levels of education. Again, the guidelines, the principles, the ethos, then even in terms of the content, how it can be incorporated. They train the teachers and the trainers. So, we have to train from time to time through ESD approach. We have to train our teachers, our trainers, both at the educational level, professional education, and so and make them aware of what are the critical issues, sustainability issues right now at present, and how to integrate them in our daily practice, and what are the current challenges that we are facing. So, we have to update them, we have to ensure the curriculum to be very updated, and we have to update them with the new curricula, and we have to apprise them from time to time the economic issues, social issues, environmental issues, which are very much significant components of sustainable development as such, and how to take into account. So, how to make the ESD an integral part of the training, training for the leaders, training for the business houses, training for the trade unions, training for the NGOs also, training for public services, training from the all kinds of industries, both manufacturing and service sector industries. So, we have to make it how to blend it, how to embed it, how to incorporate it in not only in education, in training, continuous learning, lifelong learning, practice, internship, experience, workplace practices, then principles, everywhere how to embed ESD with the greener approach. So now, second thing is how to promote the technical skills for the transition to a greener economy. So again, at the same time, we have to promote the technical skills required required to move from this current state of affairs to the another state of affairs. That is to promote the technical skills for the transition to greener economy, how the economy can move towards the more greener phase. So train the TVET teachers and trainers in the fast growing green sectors. So that is why we have to update them not only in agriculture, but in entrepreneurship, in service sector, in public service sector, even in the, you can say, even in the areas like even in the areas like in the defense, in the traffic, then even the environmental pollution control, even in the communication, everywhere how to adopt this green TVET approach to train the teachers in making this planet, making this earth a more greener space, more sustainable space to live in. So that is why we have to revise the TVET curricula. Whatever existing TVET curricula is there, we have to revise it. The courses in a more energy saving and cleaner, adopting the more energy saving and the cleaner technology and more sustainable agriculture and traditional, including the traditional technology, which also advocates for the green technology, and adopting a kinds of that means recycling processes. We are also thinking of waste management, traffic control, pollution control, so recycling of the waste products. So these things are also should be a part of this kind of management, that means waste management process. So provide the retraining for the skill upgrading. From time to time we have to update it with the technology. With the technology upgradation, we also need to update our skills and competencies, where the workers skill will be up to date and up to date with the new requirements, with the new demands of the green economy. So here we can say even for the micro and small enterprises also, we have to promote the technical skills for the small and micro enterprises also, to how to improve, how to match between the classroom activities and the workplace learning. Again, what we are learning at the training center, what we are educating the students regarding the skills and competencies, how it should be carried over, how it can be transferred to the real classroom, a real workplace learning experience through apprenticeships, then through internship, through you can say through projects, through assignments, through short-term short-term courses, etc. So how, again, at the same time, how to involve the private sector, and trade unions and employer associations also in designing their own TVET courses, designing their own TVET products, designing their own TVET practices, which are very much relevant to the industry. So here again we can say that promote the basic skills and cross-cutting and generic green skills to enable the workers to meet the new and emerging skill needs. Again, at the same time, it's not just about this basic skills on literacy and numeracy and eligibility and the employability skills, but also more generic green skills to enable the workers to meet the new demands of the market, new demands of the workplace. So in order to to increase the capacity of the education and training system, to provide, not only to provide the basic skills for all, but to enhance the national skill base also. Now we have this skill development centers, Ministry of Skill, Ministry of Entrepreneurship. They are from time to time they are also delegating the work, delegating the responsibility to different institutes and centers for the skill training, etc. So we have to also while updating ourselves, while catering to the needs of our employees, our workers, our students, our stakeholders, at the same time we have to match it with the national interest also. So, national skill base, what is there in the repository, what the ministry, what the government actually is striving for, is trying to attain or establish the new skill base, a new skill set. So, that also we have to match with. So, we have to cultivate the key competencies that is required to facilitate the transition to sustainability, such as entrepreneurship and the risk management. So, it is not about just about the production and service towards the greener approach, but green products, green service as such, but also the entrepreneurship and should be also sustainable, the entrepreneurship approach from transition to sustainability to entrepreneurship, risk management, disaster management, and being proactive. How can we plan ahead for the future needs of our stakeholders, and how it can be more eco-friendly, how it can be more sustainable and with the minimum damage to the environment, minimum depletion of the resources. So, under this again, so to enhance the entrepreneurship skill, also education to promote the launch of the new enterprises, self-direction, self-employment, self-startups, now the startups either directly or indirectly contributing to the green economy. So, they provide the entrepreneurship training also and business coaching to our small scale industry or small scale entrepreneurs for the to boost the startup green businesses, microfinance projects, through microfinance projects, to startup startup seed money for developing countries, for developing the multi-dimensional opportunities, job opportunities, employments, and the training for the stakeholders. So, here again another important thing is that policy implementation. So, here we have to enhance the policy coherence, and that should coordinate with the implementation of education training for the sustainable development. At the policy level, it should also be there, it should be completely blended, it should be completely merged in the core domains, that is enhance the policy coherence, coordinate implementations of the education training for sustainable development. From the top level, from the policy level itself, it has to be blended, it has to be merged, it has to be included in the framework. So, therefore, the now new sectors, new emerging sectors have also come up, like being green, such as waste management, recycling, agriculture, working condition. All these things are also has become very important vital areas, because these are the areas which requires a more green approach toward the sustainable sustainable practices and sustainable environment, sustainable environment and sustainable development strategies. So, therefore, integrate the skill development into the national and environmental and development strategies. So, skill development, more green skills, more green approach to TVET, how these things would be embedded in the national developmental strategy, environmental strategy, and training strategy. So, as a part of this again, design the education training responses in collaboration with the relevant ministries to address the national, regional, and local demands. Being global means also taking into account these regional, local demands to address the local issues, Therefore, design and implement the ESD's policies through interministerial and intersectorial approach that also involve the private sector, civil society, local communities, and scientific community. So, here there should be a consensus. In while implementing the thing, that in terms of policy framework, that both all the stakeholders, our private enterprises, the NGOs, the government sector, people, stakeholders, users, direct customers, consumers, and the production units, everybody, they should sit together, and while deciding that these are the sectors, overlapping sectors, how these green skills and competencies and green approach can be applied. So, there should be a proper discussion and forum for these intersectoral issues and the domains. So, now while going for the green jobs and the green skills. So, before going for the green jobs and the green skills, now we said how this can be design and implementation of ESD policies through interministerial, interdepartmental, intersectorial approach, which should also involve all stakeholders, like all types of stakeholders at private sector, civil society, local communities, scientific communities, and consumers, customers, service sector people, everything. So, up to this now we discuss. After this class we will go for the further elaboration on these things. Thank you very much.